One aspect of life which has been bothering many people about the Mbu village is the question of marriages. We seem to see that marriages have declined so badly in the Mbu village. Many young men don't get married at all, or if they are getting married, they abandon their own girls in the village and get married outside. Now, the greatest problem which they face, or which they tell us, is that the Mbu girls are not cultured. They talk to us about marrying the people they love. Let me try to talk about how marriages were conducted in olden days in the Mbu clan. Many boys had no knowledge of the girls to whom they got wedded. It was the question of a parent being interested in a young man or a family and meets the head of that family and propose the question of me getting a wife from their family, for who, in most cases, it was not always disclosed. When the two friends meet and they agree that children can get married, this child might be out of the village. As some of them used to work in Calabar, in Manfe, some in Equatorial Guinea at the time called Fernando. They didn't know the girls who were at that time in the village. So marriages were being arranged by their own parents. In some cases, the parents would ask for either their son or their daughter to send up a picture. This picture was used in the place of the young man himself presenting himself to the to-be wife. They bring this picture and show the girl, this is the man you are going to be married to. The parents did all arrangements and this is how it was done. Now, things have been adulterated because I seem to see marriages being hijacked, the question of knock door, which now has become a popular saying back in Mbu village. In fact, that is not how things were being done. It was a question of the father-in-law to be. He goes out with two of his brothers, or just he himself and a brother. One evening, they have a 5-liter, or what you used to call damunu. They would take it along, visit the parents of the girl, sit down with him in the house and talk, put down the Mbu and tell them the reason of the visit. And in most cases, they said it in this way. You have a good plantation with some good suckers growing, good plantains growing in your plantation. We want to come and have a plantain sucker in order that we might be able to plant in our own farm to have the same type of plantains you have. During that discussions, they would open the 5 liters or what the dam which they have brought. They would drink, and the father of the girl would tell them, well, I have heard what you've said. Please, can you give me time to see what your request is looking like? He might go into his bag, and in those days where we used to use shillings, the British currency, they will give you 3 pennies or a shilling. Say, okay, you go. When you get ready, come back and let us talk. Now, during that period, the father of the girl will consult with his brothers, with his wife, will tell them the adventure, how these people have come to the house and what they are looking for. Now, after that, you appear for a second time, using the money they gave you to buy other wine, Mbu and bring. You buy it and bring. At that time, you inform him of your next visit. He would invite his brothers. He will invite other family members. They will all assemble, and then you come in. They will put down this wine. And at that time, they might call the girl and say, okay, this is what is going on. These people they have come to this compound because of you. If at that time you had contacted the girl behind and asked her opinion, the parents are going to ask her, if you know these people, please open this Mbu and let us drink. If the girl says yes, she will open the Mbu. That is to prove that she had been contacted. But let me tell you, in those olden days, most of the girls did not even know. They didn't even know to whom they were going to get married. As far as the father of the boy and the father of the girl have agreed, they sat down and made those arrangements of how their children should get married. When this arrangement is done, the question of dowry, which today has become some sort of money making, at that time there was no money. They used what we used to call ndung, which were some sort of bangles made out of some crude iron. And how was this bride price determined? The two families met, sat down, they made a delegation of the family of the girl, who are the people to do the pricing, and the family of the boy are those to bid the price to see how much they can offer. And how did they do it? They made some sticks, they counted a bundle of sticks and brought to you. And every stick in that bundle represented one of those bangles. You people get the sticks, go outside and discuss. That's the family of the young man. They will get the sticks and go outside. They will try to beat. If they give you 50 of them, they can come back and give them back 25. That's to say they have just 25 to pay. If they say no, they will get all the sticks again and go back outside and then come back and give them 40 or any number which they thought. They will come back and hand it to the parents of the boy. They will go back outside too and discuss in their own family and come back and give them the number they wish they can pay. When finally this is agreed, the bride price has been made. In some other tribes around the grassland or the northwest region, they use cowries. But since cowries became some sort of a royal property, it was unheard of. What are you going to do with things which are not yours? Things which belong only to the fawn. So cowries, in those days now, were a royal property, which if you had it, it was going to go to the palace. So if it were a thing for you to own, you have what we call those bangles which were put on the hand. And now, how was this money derived to pay for this dowry? Any uncle of the boy will come up with the amount he can contribute. If he can give 5, he comes and put in his 5 bangles. This one comes with what he can get. They will gather it and then pay as a bride price for the son's wife to be. Now, that's how the tradition used to look like. It was not a question of an individual. The boy himself contributed nothing because at that time, he would not have anything to contribute. So, mostly the parents used to marry wives to their sons. Now, when all this is done, let me sound some important point in this question of early marriages. The families with a girl whose mother was officially taken from the parents' house to the husband's house, which is called Mbu Journal. If your mother was sent to your father's house officially in this way, it is the same way they expect our daughters to be given out in marriage. In case a mistake was made and this girl went out for marriage without performing these very rituals which the mother had performed, during the course of this bride price being paid, they asked for a goat, and that goat was called Gwimben, because you passed through an official channel, which is a hole you made to enter in the compound of the father of the girl. This goat must be paid. And when you paid this goat was taken as covering all the things which they would have collected during the question of movement between the parents' house to the husband's compound. Now, when this girl was brought to the compound, since most families were polygamous families, if the boy to be the husband is from Mother A, this girl was never taken to Mother A's house. She was taken to Mother B's house. That is the mate of the mother of the young man who is going to get married. It was in her house that this girl stayed. It was in her house that she was taught womanhood, or she was taught the lessons of how she could live in the house with her husband by the maid of the mother-in-law. All these things were being taught to the girl by her, not the mother-in-law. And at this time, the boy had no access to that girl. And each time this girl was taken officially and brought, they brought a young man or a young girl from the compound of the girl to keep her company. This young man or young girl is called Nigel, who stays beside her, so that that question of leaving her family and living in a straight family should not worry her. So she went with a junior brother or a junior sister who was called Nigel. This Nigel was all the time by her side. She will not stray, she will not go anywhere without this Nigel beside her. And she was being watched because in most cases, they can escape and go them back to their compound. They were in a foreign place, and at that time, they could sneak and go away. So they were under a keen watch of the family of the boy. Now, during this this period of trying to teach her womanhood, how she is going to live with her husband, what she should do to keep the family together. The young man himself was being instructed, if he has not had a house, they used to build their own houses attached to their father's or their mother's house called Banditsara. That's where the young man's house was. And it was another ceremony by the stepmother to bring the girl to the young man's house in the evening. She was given special instructions. She will be given special instructions on how to behave, because in most cases, all these girls left their parents to get married when they had not had any knowledge of, any kind of knowledge of a man. For that reason, it was a strange thing for them, and they needed some training, they needed some introduction, so that when they get there, and in most cases, the young men ended up having a lot of struggle in order to have their wives acknowledge that they were husband and wife. These were things which used to happen in those days. And the question of love, which our sons and daughters now take it as a stepping stone, either not to get married or to marry without anybody's consent, is that they are looking for love. Now, let me say something. We can love something which we don't know. So, as this girl and this boy came into contact because of their parents, they started developing interest for each other. And that is the way they loved themselves in those days. That love came to stay, because each time the girl thinks about it, says, no, my parents cannot give me something which is bad. They've given me something which is good. They start loving themselves and stay together and make their own family. But these days, the question of door, which has come in, lavishing of money, just come in the first time, the type of things they bring, the whole village, that asking a hand of a girl in marriage now becomes the question.